right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been trying to go through some steps in our HTML sandbox. And so far, I've come in here and we've talked about things like H1 tags, images, and how to make a clickable image, unordered lists, H2 tags, ordered lists, tables, including captions, headings, table data, etc. And we left off last time with another with an H3 tag and then our form. I'm going to work on this form a little bit to try to make it look a little bit more, I'm not even going to say professional because we haven't really done anything on it to make it look very professional. But I am going to come in and I'm going to remove the field set and I'm going to remove the legend. All right. And then come in here, move this over a little bit, and get rid of these two. Oops, try that again. And let's see, again, move this over. And that should be pretty good. Let's see what happened after we changed that. All right, looking a little nicer. I'm not saying it looks very professional. It hasn't been styled at all. But what I wanted to do was to go through a few different things that I didn't mention last time. All right. For instance, we got first name, last name, address, city, state, zip. Let's add an email address in here. And I want to show you something here. So let's see. I'll just grab one of these. All right. And I'm going to put in here email. Email. Well, of course, I did the wrong one. Try that again. So right here, email, 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 and email. Now, I'm going to make a change to this very quickly, but I just want to show you. I now have got my email in there. Okay, that looks just fine. That's not a problem. And while we're at it, let's add one more in here where we'll put our phone number. All right, so this one will be phone. And I want it down here. So phone, 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 and phone. All right, so that's the first thing. Now, I do want to mention to you, and again, please realize this isn't styled, so it's totally fine the way it is. All right, but right now, if I click submit, nothing happens. It doesn't go anywhere. That's fine. But if I put garbage like in here, it accepts the garbage. It's not giving me any error messages, and I'd like it to. So let's go back and look at each one of these. Well, let's say that putting in the first name there, putting in that field is required. Hopefully you're with me. So I'm going to put in the word here, required. And we're also going to say putting in a last name is required. So I'm going to put required in here. Now notice that after I've done that and I open it up again with Live Server, and if I don't put anything in here, now I say, please fill out this field. All right. And I can come in here and go to Nancy Jones. Okay, and that's fine. And submit. But I still get my error message. But the point is, now those fields are required. All right, let's say that the address, city, state, and zip are not required. But let's say that the email field is required. And let's also say that the phone number is required. All right. So click, okay, that's required. We said Nancy. Jones. And again, not required, not required, etc. Now, please fill out this field. But notice if I put in hello here, I'm just going to put in hello. And I'm going to put in goodbye right here. And it took it. In other words, it's not checking the type of field that it is. I can force that to happen. And that's typically what you'd want to have happen in here as well. All right. So I'm going to come in here. First off, let me go back where I'm setting up my form here. I'm saying it's 75%. Let's knock that back down again to 40%. Let's see if that looks a little nicer. There. All right. I like that better. Okay. So I can come in and instead of saying that my type for my email is text, I can say my type is email. All right. Now notice that when I come in here, and again, we'll put in like we had been doing. In fact, let's see. I'll just put in my information, okay? But now I'm just going to put in JP Scott here. That's all I'm going to put, JP Scott. All right, and notice when I click submit, it must include an @ sign in the email address. If I just put an @ sign in there, well, please enter a part following the @ sign. So now if I put in rankin.edu, now we get a please fill out this field. How about hello? Well, it took it. Why did it take it? Well, you should know this by now. It's because I could have said in here this is of type TEL, meaning that it's a telephone. So now I've got everything in here, and I'm going to leave this. I'm going to leave that blank again. Please fill out this field. How about hello? It still took it because the telephone is kind of hinky the way that it's set up. All right. But just so you know, if I do come back in here now and actually put in a telephone number, all right, so if I do come in there and put in an actual phone number, let's just say 555-555-5555, all right, and I submit, I don't get an error, all right, and this is typically you put these kind of things in there. You set up something to TEL if you actually want to be able to make a telephone call. So typically it's if you're doing something from a phone. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, a couple other things that are in here. All the stuff that's in here now, basically it's most of the stuff I wanted to show you, but I'm going to add a few things anyway. All right. Now, just to pretty it up just a little bit, all right, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to try something. I have no idea if this is going to work the way I want it to work or not. But I'm going to again be kind of break the rules here. And I'm going to say this is what we're going to be covering in day 2, but I'm just going to show you this now. I'm going to put in here style. And I'm going to say all my labels, I want them to have a width of 100 pixels. And I want their text to be aligned to the right. Now, hopefully I made that big enough. We'll find out real quick. Didn't like that at all. Well, let's see. Well, I was hoping it was going to move those over, and it didn't, and I'm not sure why. And I don't want to get off on too big of a tangent here. I'm already 10 minutes into this. Say margin, 10 pixels, padding, 10 pixels. Did move those over, and that's good. They're all kind of lined up now. It's not grabbing my width on any of these, and I'm not sure why. All right, I'll go back because I've already got another exercise for this, and I don't want to go too nuts on that. So let's just leave in the margin and the padding. That's fine. All right, a couple more things though before we get off on this, or get off of this. First of all, first name, you know about the required, and that's good. The email I've shown you. What if I want to put down here, like, do you have a message for me or something? All right. I don't want to use a text boxed in here like I've been using. I'm going to use instead something that's called a text area. All right. So let me come in here, and you do it a little bit differently. Say text area, and I'm going to say rows equal, that's how high it's going to be. I'm going to say 10. And I'm going to say cols, which is how wide, equals 25. All right, and text area. Let me grab a label for that too. And it'll say label for equal message. And this will say message. And again, this will say ID equals message. Name equals message. And let's see what that did. All right, we've now got this. So we can come in, you can actually even stretch this, etc. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can. And all right, so I've got that in there too. Let's see. The columns. I'll make it 40. That looks good. Yeah, that's about what I'd want there. Okay. All right. The only other thing to mention in here, the other thing, right now, it's not styled, so it doesn't look very nice. But when you look at the state, I got to manually enter the state, and I don't really like to do that. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in let's see, US states HTML select. All right, so there's the state list. I'm going to grab this, and it might be more than I want, but that's still, it's fine. Now this is going to really increase the size of my, not of my form, but of the code that I'm typing in, because now instead of state right here, instead of that input, I'm getting rid of that, and I'm replacing it with this. And that's going to put in all the states for me. Not only that, I want, let's see, we're in Missouri. I think it's checked, but we're going to find out. So I'll put in checked right there. So let's see. Well, it wasn't checked. It might be selected. I don't remember. But if you look in here, now I've got all my states. All right. And let's see if it's selected instead of checked. I always forget which of these it is. And, well, it's Minnesota. I checked the wrong one. Should have been Missouri, and I guess I'd used Minnesota. So let's bring that into Missouri. And now we've got Missouri chosen. All right. Sometimes you'll put in there, you'll put a first state instead of Alabama. You'll have please select this state type of an idea. So let's take a real quick look at that. All right. And then we'll look at a couple of other things, and we'll pretty much put this to rest then. So I've talked to you so far in here, and I quickly showed you a little bit of inline styling. But I showed you what labels are, and I showed you what text boxes are. Okay? This is what's called a select, because that's what we're doing. And these are our options. Now, notice it's got value. I could have put Alabama here, but typically where you've got val, that's what you'd store inside of a database. All right, and I don't want to store the word Alabama. I just want the abbreviation AL. And selected means that was the one that was chosen. All right, let's add a couple more things in here. So let's add email and phone. Let's add some more stuff in here. So let's put in let's see. Let's put in, I don't know. Let's put in a label. 4 equals, we'll say gender. And we'll say gender here. And then down here, we'll have, let's see. Well, I've goofed up my own notes here. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to put in here input, type equals gender. Input type equal gender. Name equals gender. And ID equals female. And I'm also going to put, now I am going to put in the word checked. All right. And the word female. And I'm going to put a couple ampersand NBSPs for non-breaking space. So let me put in 3 of those. All right, then I'm going to copy this line that we just put in, and I'm going to put it in there 2 more times. And the next one will say male. All right, and it's not going to say checked because we can only have 1 checked. And this will also say male. And then we'll put down unknown. Again, it won't be checked. And the IDs should always be lowercase. Why? Because that's just convention. So this will say unknown, and we don't need the spaces afterwards. So let's take a look at that handiwork. Well, it didn't give me radio buttons. I'll have to fix that. Interesting. Let's, again, go to W3 schools. Radio buttons. Well, look at theirs. I'll grab theirs. That looks even better. All right, let's see if that fixed it, and we'll go back and take a look at it. There we go. Gender. Phone, gender, male, female, other. Okay, that's not a problem. So with the phone here, somehow I lost my phone. That moved down to here. All right, so we have male. We don't want a line break after that. We want a non-breaking space. We'll put in 2 of them. And then we'll have female, and again, 2 non-breaking spaces. And then we'll have other. There we go. Male, female. I'll fix that in a minute. Male, male, female. And we're going to fix that right now. B. And after this other, we again want 2 line breaks. All right, I've got to fix that, but phone, I got to move that gender down, but I got now male, female, and other. That's what I want. All right. There, I think I finally got it the way I want it. So gender, male, female, other. These are called radio buttons, and they're off of the time when I was your age, when you, in a car, you had radio buttons, and you could only choose one of them. See that? So let's suppose that we want it to have a default value of female. All right, then I would just come back in here. And for female, again, I would put in checked. And that should make sure that that one is now highlighted. I can still check the other ones. All right. So I'm running over again, so I'm going to come back and finish this up in the next lecture.